I'm not a well-read guy. You know, if I was, I would be. I don't know. I'd have a lab coat. If I was a well-read guy, I would have a lab coat, and I would be a regular guest on one of these talk shows as an expert. And then I would come out always with my lab coat on. You got to have the lab coat. You ever notice that anytime they have an expert or somebody comes on one of those talk shows? I was watching a little bit of Dr. Phil the other day. I know it's embarrassing. I don't know what happened. Turned on the TV. The thing was on. There was some girl saying that she got molested by her dad, and he's like, he used to beat me. He beat me with a yardstick to the point that it broke. And she was shaking. I guess she didn't say she was molested. She just kept saying that the guy physically abused her. He was choking me. He threw me down on the bed, and she was just shaking. I turn on TV, and this girl is shaking, talking about this guy, and then they cut to the dad and be like, I disciplined her. I don't recall, some of the things that she said, and then they would cut back to her. You did. You threw me down on the bed. Why would I make that up? And then they would cut to her sister, and then her sister was like, yeah, that never happened. And, she's full of shit. And it just kept going back and forth until finally Dr. Phil looked at the girl who was going, hey, hit me with a yardstick. And he finally looked at her and basically said, bitch, are you on drugs? He left off the bitch part, but he had it in his, you could see it in his forehead, the way his eyebrows were coming together. His eyebrows said, bitch, but he didn't verbally say it, but he just said, are you doing drugs? Or have you done drugs? So if we were to test you right now, you would not be on drugs. And she's like, well, I mean, there's going to be drugs in my system. I smoked marijuana in the last month, but right now I'm sober. So you will submit to a drug test. And she's like, yes. And the second they said, then they go, we're going to test you right now. And the second he fucking said that, I go, here comes the doctor, and I know he's going to be wearing that white lab coat. And out comes the doctor. What's he got on? His fucking white lab coat. What the fuck is with the lab coat? I've never understood it. Is it cold in hospitals? You know, they already have scrubs underneath it. That's for all the germs. That's another thing, too. All these ladies who sit there, all you ladies who sit there and you see, some guy walking out of a fucking hospital and he has on scrubs and you start going, ooh, look at that guy. Wow, there's a provider. And you look at the guy like he's all sexy, right? He's wearing scrubs. That's like the female version of me seeing some girl walking down the street dressed like a French maid, right? If you knew the fucking bacteria. I worked in the dental office. I'm telling you, the shit that was spraying out of people's mouths onto those fucking smocks, it's disgusting. So I can only imagine what happens when you do brain surgery. What I'm saying is they got brains on those fucking. Maybe that's why they wear the coats. They gotta cover up all that fucking trauma that's on their scrubs. Where the fuck was I going with this? Oh, I know. You know something? Actually, I don't know. I'm ending this story. I didn't even plan on revealing that I actually watched a little bit of Dr. Phil. Very hypocritically, too, because I make fun of that guy on stage. And there I was sitting there like some chick on my period. You know? The only thing I was mentioning was a little bit of ice cream. You know? And some ridiculous fucking slippers. Why do women always have those big, stupid, fuzzy slippers that they just make, you meet them out someplace, they look hot, they're unbelievable, you go home, you hook up with them, and then the next morning they're sitting in there in those feet slippers and you just want to fucking, you ever see that fucking, was it a left hook or was it an overhand right? Do you remember that when Tommy the Hitman Hearns knocked out Roberto Duran? He came in with that whole little slinky move he made. The guy was like 6'7", but he only weighed 150 pounds, so he could fight as a middleweight. And he had like a 2 foot reach on everybody. He came in and just fucking cracked hands of stones right across. He fucking punched the beard right off his face. And that's what the fuck I want to do every time I see those, when they have on like those Fraggle Rock sweatpants. It's like your childhood's over. It's over. Will you stop dressing the stuff we just did last night, okay? For you to now come out and dress like you're 12 years old is really making me feel like a fucking pervert, all right? So, why don't you dress like the whore that you were last night rather than, trying to get some sort of dignity through your fucking slippers? Because it ain't working with me, sweetheart. Who am I even talking about? When was the last time that ever happened? I don't even know. I don't even know. I do remember one time hooking up with some girl and who looked like she was totally cool and had her shit together, and then all of a sudden I got in her bedroom and I could just feel that creepy vibe. And then, you look on their, what it is, you look on their bookshelf, and then you just start reading the books and you just realize that they're out of their mind. You know what I mean? There'll be one book, We Never Landed on the Moon, and that quickly goes to like, there was literally a book one time, I remember, the name of the book was They Said It Wasn't Rape. And you're like, oh, my God, right? And then, 3 books down, Daddy Said Suck It or whatever the fuck it was. And I was just like, I really, as she was in the other room, I definitely looked under the bed for the ice pick. I'm not going to lie to you.